Hello everyone, welcome back. We are into round 5 of 7 now, and here we have, I believe this is, let me just double check, I think this is the second table.
Yeah.
We've got Jonald versus Declan or Dolbob here. Now, what I know about these two is this matchup of Ob versus Steve, specifically these exact decks.
Very nice.
These two have played over 5 times in a row, I believe, in preparation for the London Regionals. They met up just to practice. So,
very nice.
We've got two players that, you know, the best Netrunner would be two players with great decks who know every single card in the game, everything their opponent's deck will have, all the lines they should do and shouldn't do.
Yes.
So we are about to see hopefully some very high quality Netrunner. And now I'm really worried that we might just get like a random game loss or something. But hopefully we don't.
We can hope not. Do you know what these decks are doing?
So I know that this is like Kikai's Steve list with
Very nice.
We've got Banhar. That's basically it, really.
Yep,
That's
Steve.
most of it. I think all the influences: 2 Banhars, 3 Strike Funds, and 3 Steel Skins.
Yeah. So
just to give some extra value for those trashes. And the Ob, I'm not too sure.
exciting.
So, we've got
had a mulligan.
there we go. Little fist bump to get started.
Indeed.
Drawing into a second border control there. And we can see we've got we've already got the key piece for Steve here,
Yes.
which is that Banhar.
Very
Now,
nice.
it should be noted, when you're up against Wayland, just remember, your one resource that's very critical to your deck might get trashed.
It is
So
true.
you have to be careful
There
of
is
that.
a 1 per deck card that
Yeah.
will ruin your day. It's also worth noting that against Ob, sometimes there will be 5 subroutines.
Sometimes there will be what?
5 subroutines on an envelopment.
Oh yes, that is true. Yes, that is potentially fatal.
You want to make sure you don't run into that one.
So yeah, I don't know too much about this Ob list. We've obviously seen some border controls, but that's expected. I'm not too sure what the conversion down we're trying to do here. It might be the kind of Circle of Life where you turn it into a virus, which you then turn into a Regolith mining license or something.
I think there's an Eminent in the remote, although that might have stayed in hand. I saw one in the opening hand.
So we're going to drop down the Banhar, which brilliantly designed that it doesn't work the turn you play it.
Yes.
It would be...
Oh, imagine. It'd be a nightmare. There we see a fancy class act.
Yeah. One of the prizes straight into the deck. People love to do that here. It's like, oh, here's a prize. It's a card in my deck. I'll put it straight in. But yeah, class act is going to be huge for just being able to filter to get what you need. We're going to drop down a boomerang. There we go.
Nice
Look, wow, that is a very nice boomerang.
Tokens.
And then we're going to class act for the end of turn. Drawing 5 to filter down to 4.
Yeah.
Probably gonna, the career fair going to the bottom because I think we're on.
Probably not too many more resources.
I think we're on Earthrise Hotel
That would make sense.
as a draw card, but
Yeah.
once you've already got a class act down, you're now holding 2 cards in hand just to prepare for that. So
Yeah.
But this is I guess we ran into the border control, right? And then now we've put the boomerang down to say we can go stop this when we want.
Yep.
And then we've just installed just a new card there.
Yep. Worst case is probably a speed, although there's not too many high value targets for it yet, but certainly a card
Yes,
that
I think that will definitely be in here. I always get
it's SV, I think. Yeah.
oh yes, Sviatogor
Yes.
excavator. There we go. I always say Svigator.
I don't know.
I just want it to have a gator in it, you know.
Yes.
Sviatogor excavator is definitely almost certainly in this list. It's just such a great card for Ob to be able to guarantee getting the value from things they might not normally get the value from.
Yeah, just making sure you get your Ob trigger and a whole bunch of money to go with it.
Yeah, and I remember when I was building an Ob deck way back when, you have to carefully assess how many cards cost 5, how many cost 4.
Yeah.
What kind of, it's kind of like the Pokemon tree evolution thing where you're like, what if I have 4 for basic Pokemon, do I have 3 level 1 evolutions or 2, and then do I have 2 of the level 2 evolution? You have to work out what your tree is looking like.
What 2 costs are worth it? Because like there's so many good ones, but all the good ones are influenced.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I doing with 1 cost, or am I just giving up and putting in a tithe?
So we saw. I'm not sure what that was on the table. I think it might have been a Rashida. And there we score an Eminent.
I assume we're getting an Archer.
Surely.
Like, can't imagine much else. There we go.
I mean, the secret to beating this Ob deck is don't let them score Eminent.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we're going to have to come up with another solution now, because that is going to be incredibly difficult for Steve to get any value from.
I believe this Steve deck has been on shutdown before, though. It
does, yes. It does have...
And that's a nasty thing to do to
It has 2 or 3 emergency shutdowns, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely going to be useful. But you do have to get through it once.
Yes.
Which is going to be a challenge. But we're also criminal.
Yep.
So we're pretty good with sentries. I believe we're on 3 guns.
Yep. Very nice.
Which is expensive.
But in Steve, it's about 6 guns.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's got loads of guns. And yeah, it's just amazing the value you can get from Steve.
Yeah.
And also, when you're using Banhar, you don't want to have the cards you want in hand. But it's great, because if you lose them, or if they're in your discard pile, you can lose the other cards. Then you hit HQ and you go, well, I'm going to go get the card I want to play after this.
Even though I lost it.
Yeah, so it can even be like Deep Dive,
Yeah.
where you like run Archives, run R&D, final run is HQ, and you're like, well, here's 2 Deep Dives. Which one are you going to let me play as my 4th click?
Yep.
So, thinking through the options here.
And just looking at the top card and tracking
Yep,
what we
that looks
see.
like a Marilyn there.
And this time it's a Marilyn. Very nice.
And then discarding a...
Axe Cradle.
Yes, by the looks of it.
Dangerous.
Let's bring up and remind ourselves just how terrifying this Archer is. Although Archer being do 4 net damage almost feels not so bad.
It's almost playable as a Jinteki Ice.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, because you have to break that end the run. Like, it's just a century of end the run and trash programs is.
I can't work out what the proxy is, but everything else looks fairly losable in that hand.
Yes.
Well, there might be a gun actually that you'd rather just break it with.
The proxy is likely to be a old school kind of criminal card that's. It could be Doof.
It could be Doof. You don't want to lose that.
And yeah, with the corp just on, 3 credits now.
Yep.
A Doof could do a lot, but they have got a piece of ice there, so they would certainly res it on that run. So
yeah, I think
it's not great right now. Okay, we're immediately shuffling that back in to go and fetch a 1-coster.
Yes, and get to 9, which is nice.
So that's going to be a wall-to-wall by the looks of it.
Yep.
Which is very nice while it's our 1 resed asset.
Yep, just swap 1 asset for another.
Yep. So what it's going to be, draw a card, gain a credit, and then, I don't think the advancement's going to do much here.
You might run an advanceable ice, there's a couple good ones.
There's also Ice Wall.
Yeah. Ice Wall is definitely...
Ice Wall is one that you usually... Well, you might turn it into a Rashida.
Yep.
If you get the opportunity to.
Yeah, that's always nice.
So yeah, we're going to probably be taking draw a card, gain a credit, and then probably just stick an advancement counter somewhere.
Stick one on
you
the
can also just do it as threat.
Yep.
Just make people be like, oh, what could that be?
It's, Number of times I've run a face down with an advancement and said that can't be anything, it's got an advancement on it. Like, multiple doesn't care, I can put...
There we go, there's into a Sandstone, which that's just going to fire. Oh no, sorry, we're Banharing this, so that's going to be
1 net damage.
A mere 1 net damage.
Lose a gun.
Not ideal.
No.
But then we're going to continue, and now we have the option to...
spend the boomerang?
Yep. Which I assume we're going to take, because...
I imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it goes.
So then they pass, and then I think, that border control is going to go away. Are we going to go and find a Mavirus and stick it on HQ, just so we've got an instant pull for whatever we need, or...
Yeah,
because
with the Akshar, it's not as needed to get something on the remote again immediately.
Yeah, but like a Sandstone on
Sandstone even.
Yeah, Sandstone anywhere is just good, because if you... Oh, yeah.
Just second one there.
Yeah.
I mean, breaker for this is probably tremolo, as I've seen before.
Yes.
And
that's going to take a while to get that
going
ready.
To be quite expensive.
Yeah. And with the time that you get from that, yeah, let's bring up tremolo. Tremolo is not commonly played, but it is in this because it's just about worth it in the long run.
3 for 2. Ow.
Yeah, but it costs 1 less for each cybernetic, so it'll probably be 2 for 2, which then is kind of just a normal breaker.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the main thing.
If you can get it 1 for 2, it's almost cleaver.
Although the
real dream is 0 for 2.
Infinite subroutine breaking, you just have to get to strength. But that's still 4 credits to get to the strength of an OG standstone. So it is expensive.
Still not, even then it's not quite.
So what is that we've run into there? But we've dirty laundried into R&D to trash the top card.
Yep.
There's lots of credits now.
Oh, that's Rashida, I believe. Yeah.
Rashida fires, and then we draw that's into a spin doctor. That's going to help us put back anything we need to make it fire more often.
I think it means that card there isn't a water ball because.
Yes, so it must be something else. It's not Chrysium, is it?
It's a 1 cost of some kind.
Oh, it's a Tranquility Home Grid.
Oh,
that's what it is.
That's a snazzy include.
Yeah, the brilliant thing about Ob is the fact that you can just play one of it.
Yep.
It's 3 influence, is it? No, it's 2 influence.
Only 2.
But you can just play one of it. You can shuffle it back with Spin Doctor, and then you can
even get it doubling up on your value.
Yep.
Sometimes.
So yeah, it's just super useful.
Yeah, very nice card.
And while this server's so well locked out with 2 sandstones, that also at some point we've purged here, so that that must have been from a virus,
probably
in the bin by the looks of it.
Or
maybe that's what we saw on top of the deck.
That might have been it. Yeah.
So this looks like, is that Rashida? Is that what that card is? No, that Spin Doctor?
Don't know.
So we're just checking the table here, just trashing everything.
Yep.
And so we see the emergency shutdown in hand. We just need to find a gun.
Or a sneak door.
Or a sneak door, yes.
That's always rude.
Yes, there is a sneak door in here, and I was listening earlier and people were saying, sometimes I wish there was a second sneak door, because it would make a huge difference. To be able to have that second sneak door come down, just to increase the chance of it coming up, and also, if you ever lose it, the corporation going, oh, well, clearly you've lost it, so you'll never run archives now, and then you pop down the second one and they go, I can't believe this guy.
Yeah, definitely a nice one to
So we've switched to going reasonably very defensive here. Oh, we were thinking about double icing R&D, but we've changed our mind.
Yeah, it could be a bit expensive if you're forced to res all of it.
Yeah, and we've only got 10 credits as the corporation here.
Yeah.
And we've got an upgrade on HQ that could be...
I'd want a Chrysium.
Yes, Chrysium would be great here.
Mavirus is also possible, I think.
Yep. Other option could be a Holloman that we're protecting so we can move it over.
That's clever.
I'm not too sure if this deck is playing Holloman, but Holloman is a nice, like a 2-to...
Yeah.
Like you can Spigator a Sandstone to go get a Holloman.
Of course, the real thing is, if it's a Mavirus, it's also a Holloman. And
here the fun starts. Out comes the Tremolo. Now, is there a Cybernetic to support it? Otherwise, it's going to be a very expensive run coming up soon.
This is paying a full 3 for each subroutine.
Oh my... for each pair?
Yes.
But yes.
They only got 1 each, so it's...
That... but the first one's Banhar, so the first one
is just
is
damage.
free. Yeah. And having these 2 Sandstones back to back...
Whatever that is.
Yep. Let's assume that's a doof.
Yep.
It looks like it's got 5 pips coloured in there, so...
Yeah, I can believe it's doof.
Perhaps it is.
Then this one is costing...
Yeah, it's costing...
4 to boost, 3 to break, 7?
7.
Ow.
Do we... I think we let it fire? I think we just wanted a safe target, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And this way we knew we could just take 1 on the outermost.
That makes sense.
Whereas if we run R&D, it could be a Stavka or something.
Yes.
Which,
definitely.
if you haven't ban hard it, is going to be pretty bad for putting down a Tremolo.
Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely Steve looking for just some kind of cybernetic down to make it a little bit more worth it. And now that they've each got a counter, actually this is what's really good. Yes, that proxy is legal. As long as all of the text of a card is present on a proxy,
Yep.
it is technically legal. It's definitely, obviously,
It's not ideal.
yeah,
but,
it's better if you can print them, because a lot of people know the cards from the visualness,
Yeah.
especially if you're a corp. But if you're a runner, you can kind of have worse proxies, because
and like in a
it's just a
pinch,
card on the
it's
table.
better than just not having the card.
Yeah. So the reason why the Bravado run was really smart here is by running into both those sandstones. Now the next time you run, they'll both be on 4 strength.
And for
so
the
your
2
Tremolo now,
Yeah,
you only
that's-
have to boost once.
That's really clever, actually. Yeah.
So that's definitely why that was the best server to choose. And also, like, this Banhar on the outside,
Yeah.
we don't really care. Like, that can be anything.
Yep.
It could be an archer, and that would be bad, but that would always be bad.
Yeah.
In this case, we know that the thing's past it. We can break. We just need to get
And even
some
if it is an archer,
cybernetics down.
forcing the corp to forfait is often good, even if it's only an element.
Yeah. And with 2 emergency shutdowns in hand and more on the way, there comes a Cat's Cradle. I imagine we've got 2 of each breaker, just so that if they do all end up in the bin, we can Steve them back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Assuming that we can always do some kind of trick to break the piece of ice that we need the breaker in our bin for, with Boomerang or similar cards.
Yeah, I think Steve's good at having tricks.
Yeah. And then we've got Nerf Rise coming down.
And we score an
there's-
SDS, so we're about
Okay.
to lose that Cat's Cradle we just put down.
Yep.
Do we
well,
just get rid of the Tremolo?
If on HQ we've gone Afshar, then
Yeah.
definitely taking out the Cat's Cradle, especially while the Tremolo is showing no value now.
Yeah.
Although it's going for the Tremolo, so we're prioritizing defending that server. I mean, we've got 4 points, so
Yes.
it's reasonably easy for us to just kind of push things in there,
Yeah.
advance the game ahead, knowing that they're going to have they have to find a barrier breaker to get through both of those.
Yes.
They can't Boomerang one and Banhar the other, because the Banhar's on the outermost. So
Yep.
with 3 credits here, down comes a Penny Shaver.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that
Not-
is an unusual console choice. I think a lot of them are playing Paragon.
Yeah, that always makes more sense because you get to see the top of the deck, and
Yeah, it's
a
like
bit more control.
half a draw
Yeah.
in there.
about as good as Krim gets for draw.
Yeah. But I guess with asset spam decks, Penny Shaver providing a bit more value
I
there,
can see
because you
that,
can
yeah.
check the board, gain lots of credits, and then cash them out.
Yes.
And it lets you maybe play just a single Miss Bones instead.
Definitely.
I mean,
Medical.
I wonder if there's even a decision to play 1 Penny Shaver, 1 Paragon, and just be like, I'll hope the right one comes up when it really matters. Because in those asset matchups, if your odds are feeling pretty low, then
funny way to
having, yeah, I think there's space somewhere for multi-console decks. I've also wondered about playing like, if you're planning to like Ashen Epilogue your deck, you could play Anacam for most of the game, and then you just have like a Maw for, firstly, if you're against asset spam, it's
I'll tell you
amazing.
I have seen a Nova deck that does that.
I mean, Nova makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth doing it outside of Nova.
Yeah.
But like,
And I think if you're in Shaper and you're playing things like modded as well,
that's a good shout.
then having a few different options,
Yes.
you can flex around the matchup you need. And yeah, if there's ones that are particularly powerful, like more against asset spam is huge.
Yes.
And for those kind of combo tech decks that are trying to
Yeah.
kill you, it ruins them so much seeing a more come down. But if you're playing more and you're not triggering it much, then it's garbage.
Six to install for a
Yeah.
console that's triggering only
It does
every
give you
couple
2
turns.
Mew though.
That is true.
Yeah, I'll be sad to see more rotate.
It's a fun one.
I think it's a little convolutedly worded and
the fact it
mechanically.
does the weird thing with dice when you run HQ is
Yeah.
a pain, but like, it's a fun card. Yeah.
So we did some extracting there to get a bunch of credits, and now flush with credits, pretty much anything we put in that server. While the runner hasn't got a tremolo down,
Yep.
we're pretty safe.
I think so.
But we are
Doesn't
at the
look
point.
like we have an agenda to push though.
Yeah, we're also at the point where now we've got so much unres ice that we can't afford to res all of it. I imagine.
Probably not.
Like we might see another sandstone. one of these could be an archer.
Yeah.
We could have like an ice wall or two. I don't think we're on envelopment in this deck.
No, that's fair. It's a big expensive one.
Yeah, it's a lot to pay up front, and it just doesn't do as good a job as just what Sandstone does.
That is true.
And Sandstone being able to, the fact that it costs 3. I mean, it's nice to get your border controls back, but your border controls are less good anyway because you kind of just always turn them into something else pretty rapidly.
I always like envelopment, but I do think that it's probably right to cut it.
Yeah.
Correctly.
Oh, here comes the sneak door. Now, this is going to turn things around.
Yep.
Especially if the Corp doesn't have the agendas to push right now. Being able to sneak in there. There's the Chrysium.
Yeah, we don't get Steve this time.
Yes.
But next time.
But we do get the Breach, which is going to let us access one card, which is probably not going to be agenda. But we can also... Well, unfortunately, we can't trash it because we do not have the credits.
Yes, that is a bit of a problem.
But we have forced them to spend the 3 to res the Chrysium.
I think we're just talking through the Chrysium interaction here.
Yeah, let's... So it is a successful run.
It's a successful run on Archives, but not on HQ, I believe, is the ruling.
Oh, okay. Oh, not this one. What am I doing?
Sneak Door.
Sneak Door, that's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, bring back HQ and R&D interface.
Do we have any nice rules?
Yeah, let's just roll down to the rulings. I'm sorry, you can't see this exactly. If it's... if Chrysium Grid is there, Sneak Door Beta changes the attack server while step 6.9.5a because the expected effects include the trigger condition of the delay conditional ability, which is that the run on Archives would be declared successful. However, once it's changed to HQ, they cannot declare the run successful after all because of Chrysium Grid's ability. The runner still will breach HQ.
Yeah.
But yes, you don't get any kind of Steve benefits from it.
Yes.
I believe that's what the discussion and explanation is here.
I think so.
Which is surprising because the fact that they've played this game like 5 times
Yeah.
in a row, I feel like this should have happened at least once.
Yeah, but every now and then you just find a new weird interaction.
Yeah. Definitely a difficult position for Dolbolb here with 4 points in the Corp score area.
And no good ways into anywhere.
Although I don't think there's any surprise ways to score out an STS. I think we're going to have to... It will be clear when an STS is attempted to being scored.
I think fast advancing an SDS is usually a big trick, and even never advancing it requires something.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd need to advance seamless and then... Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we can't use emergency shutdown because it wasn't a successful run on HQ, unfortunately. So we're going to have to hard play this strike fund, get some credits, eventually go and trash the Chrysium grids.
Click to get some more credits off the penny saver.
Yeah, we're just going to have to deal with that next turn. And then now we're going to ice Archives, I imagine.
Probably.
There's a Spin Doctor.
Yeah. You've got to feel like Steve's running out of ways in.
Yeah, but also with only 5 credits on the Corp side, if you do put an ice on Archives, they're now going to have to face a decision.
Yeah.
So this is an upgrade. So that's good. Possibly it's worth popping the Spin Doctor to oh no, I don't think there's no point threatening because the runner knows they can't get into that server easily at all.
Yep.
That they'll just give up on it anyway.
Yeah.
However, you could force them to feel like they have to be a little bit more aggressive and more drastic than they would have.
That can be worth it, but I think that Steve's already going to have to be as aggressive as he can.
Ooh, I see a Cybernetics in hand. Now, we don't have a Tremolo to go with it, but there is a Cybernetics in hand.
Yeah.
And a Bravado. So I imagine we're going to go take down probably Bravado into one of these servers.
Yeah.
Then take down the Chrysium.
Yeah.
In fact, we might just run twice, We earn a credit each time with Penny Shaver. We take down the Chrysium. Next turn, we run again.
Yep.
Which means we get to trigger Steve. We access 1.
We see... that's a Stavka.
Oh, okay.
It's the Snazzy World Up.
But then now we can run again. We can trigger Steve. We can then turn on emergency shutdown to turn down the Afshar. Not the Afshar, the Archer. Which is going to make it way easier in future to get into there.
Yeah, definitely.
And also force the Corp to consider whether they do need to forfeit that
Yep.
1 point, and that 1 point is significant because
Yes.
4 points and 3 points are two entirely different worlds in this game.
Yeah, I don't know the exact agenda suite, but almost always getting to 4 just threatens so much.
So yeah, Emergency Shutdown is just a very good tech card in this against these Eminent Domain decks if they do score that early Eminent.
Yeah, it definitely makes the Archer feel a lot worse.
And right now, see, the runner knows like there's no threat to score an agenda here, and knowing the deck, I imagine there's no threat of scoring out of hand, and certainly not managing to get 3 points out of nowhere. So
at most, there's an audacity.
yeah, and definitely with it being odd, you're almost certainly not going to be on hostile.
Yes.
Because you can't afford to give them a bad pub.
Yeah,
a bad pub is a game win for.
And you definitely can't afford 6 1-pointers in all. Like,
yeah,
you're already going to have such a density problem once the game gets to this point.
Yeah.
But
so it feels like the game is swinging back if we're now.
Yeah.
I mean, we did make the second. Actually, I don't know if we did make the second run yet.
Have yet. I think.
I guess we've got so many cards in hand that we're thinking about it. Okay, now we're checking what options there are here.
Yeah.
Is there some useful spice in here that we can grab? There's only one Tremolo at the moment.
There's 2 Bravados, and maybe that's just enough.
Yeah. It looks like we're filtering for Bravado there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the best money cards in the game, so...
Yep.
So this is a follow-up run. Tucking one, then taking one to hand, and then we're going to access here. Oh, now if we want, we can also Bravado on... oh, where is the Banhole? Oh, the Banhole hasn't been assigned.
That's interesting.
So we could then, Emergency Shutdown, we could then follow up with a Bravado. Oh, we don't have the credits.
No, that's a shame. But just having it gives you some money for future.
And we can be reasonably confident that's a free pass ice.
Yep.
Because the forfeit is too costly.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is an interesting way that Eminent Domain works well with this, is that it it forces the corp to, they're like, oh, I want to play this because it's such good value.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's deread, it's like, I'm never going to res that card. It's awful.
I mean, yeah.
There's probably a rationale in this matchup to actually consider doing it.
Without
but when the
Banhar,
sneak door
I
is
think
down...
sometimes it can be, but like, it's difficult.
And then we discard the Bravado we picked up. So maybe we should have picked 2 garbage cards.
Yeah, feels like we just RFU'd a Bravado for no reason.
Or maybe we're throwing out our Bravado so that the corp thinks we did that. Because we have one in hand still.
Yeah, that's sneaky. Oh.
And that we think that proxy could be a doof, which there is also one in the discard pile, so that would be great to be able to run that. That's definitely one where you'd think about using the Afshar.
I think so.
Archer.
Yes.
But the Archer is just going to give the runner a bunch of card draw here.
Yeah.
So there is the Holloman, which, why have we erased that?
I don't know. Did we search for it? I don't think so.
No.
Because it was the upgrade that was added later.
Yeah.
Maybe we're advancing an ice? Can you do that?
You can, yes.
Nice.
You can advance any card.
Very nice.
So there were some silly decks that were using Odojua because it's so hard to put advancements on this card that you could then put 3 advancements at once. Yeah, and then you just put all of those on a logjam or a tree line, and then suddenly a 24 strength barrier, it turns out, quite difficult to break.
Yeah, 24 strength barrier, you can't even boomerang. Oh, we've got something. That's got to be scary.
So here we're trying to keep the pressure up here. Now, there's only a few cards on the table to res, so this I think we're thinking about doofing here, which would somewhat force,
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, that looks like a doof to me. I think we're effectively forcing the Archer res here. But you would be accepting going bankrupt there. Oh, okay, we're continuing.
Border control. That's...
I can't believe we hadn't thought about that.
Yeah,
but yes.
That's been there since turn 1.
Yeah. So we're going to do 2 net damage. Then we need to reshuffle.
Yep.
And then...
This could be bad if you lose a random card.
There goes a Bravado. And then we pop it to deny that. and
Yep.
bring everything back in, and then we get to go and search for something as well. That
Yep.
just border control
Border
ob
control,
is just
yeah.
just a beautiful thing, especially with great ice like Sandstone around.
Yep.
And then we get a
I assume that's
Afshar,
Afshar?
which now means that archer is
Safe.
it's
Can't really
safe
Banhar
yeah. All you can do is boomerang it if in like a last ditch attempt
Yeah.
to win the game, but
It's a difficult one now.
yeah. But it might just be that that archer just never reses again.
Yep. I think,
But with the cost of ob being nothing to add a card
yeah,
there, then why not?
you can keep it, and it leaves the threat there, which is
Yeah.
important.
So then we're going to sneak door. Now, are we going to see a res here?
Question.
Something like an ice wall is probably the best thing you want here, but
Yep.
is that a border control?
I think it might be another border control.
Yeah, so probably not. Well, we don't need to pop it. It can just fire.
Yep.
But lets us turn it into anything we want later.
Yes. And it makes it harder to sneak door, which is good.
Yeah. But yeah, I did wonder if putting ice on archives earlier to stop that.
Yeah, I think if you
That
know that
cheap
there's sneak door
mode
in
in-
the deck, then like
Yeah.
putting one early can be worth it.
And also knowing there's emergency shutdown. Like
Yes.
you know how much absurd value they're getting if they get to ever touch HQ.
Yeah, I think icing archives can be really important when you see Steve across the table. It's just,
Yeah. You can almost leave R&D open
Yeah.
and just go, cool, well, here's an ice on archives, here's an
Yeah.
icon on HQ.
like,
Your go for
yeah,
turn one.
I'm not expecting any multi-access apart from Wake. And
Yeah.
So you still need to get into HQ if you care about
Yeah.
R&D.
But yeah, definitely the Eminent Domain to put it on HQ was definitely the smart move here because
Yeah, definitely.
the criminals always love HQ, but Steve maximally loves HQ.
Steve,
Almost to his faults.
yes.
It almost feels like maybe he should just play a lot of R&D pressure and
That would
just play lots of it to get it
That
back.
would be a good trick.
Yeah. That's always a difficult frustration with deck building for me is it's like, oh, cool, this ID says run the server that you know I'm always going to be running and
Yeah.
you're always going to protect extra and I get to do a cool
Every
thing.
time I try to build a Padma deck and it's just,
Yeah.
this would be so good, except I know you're going to ice R&D. Can I then make it everything about HQ?
Yeah.
And usually no.
Yeah.
Difficult place to be, although Corp is no longer rich enough to score if there is an SDS in the remote.
That is true. But yeah, the Holloman really puts the threat on the table of if I have enough credits and there is a card in here, it could just be game over and you better do something about it.
Yep. Wow. Start of turn we gain 2 credits. Was that just clicking for credit? Yeah, click for 2 credits and just install the card. I think at this point you kind of got to with how much money you're on.
Yeah. And unfortunately with a card already in there, you can't use that Tranquility Home Grid much more now.
Yeah, it's a shame. We
So
see
there comes the Zenith chip.
that's the core damage one, isn't it?
Yeah. Which we're pretty safe about because
We're not expecting any kill here.
yeah, although one less card in hand does mean that everything is a little scarier with your Banhar now.
That is true.
But this is going to really accelerate your draw engine, and also with the Corp only on 4 credits, there's a lot of servers where you can quite easily walk in.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that Afshar being on the outside, it kind of doesn't have text.
Yeah.
It's
just
really
2
weak
net.
there. But it is still 2 net. So there, 2 cards gone. Yep.
Yep.
One at a time, just in case. Always pretend that you have steel skin in hand. So we're going to pop the border control, of course, and we're going to go and find something else. Just putting anything there, just locks
Yeah.
Steve out for another turn, except for
probably
except
wants to be
for
the
R&D.
third sandstone if it's still in the deck, just because like.
Yeah, I believe the sandstone is on R&D, so probably just getting an ice wall here. Oh, sorry, it has to be a 3 cost.
Yeah, which is difficult because the other one's probably Afshar, and we've got the cats on the table.
I imagine all the 3 costs are out. So yeah, I think that was a search and fail to find there.
That's a real shame. Draw a card from that. Class high value.
Oh yeah, Zenith Chip with Class Act is a very nice combo together. And we do have Cat's Cradle, so we can get through to HQ.
Yeah.
And we know
now we just get to choose
Archer
what we're getting back.
is Fortress?
Archer's 4, I think.
Yeah, so they can res the Archer, which would be actually awfully fatal. However, we can just sneak door in for now.
Yep.
To be able to get that access, which I think is, I believe we're just pre-planning to work out what we would be taking.
Yeah. Be tempted to just get some laundry. Okay.
Just to get more money.
Yep.
It's what we need. So yeah, we're sneak dooring through, accessing 1. That's an Afshar. Okay, so that's probably what we were probably going to put that on archives.
Yes.
I don't hate it.
It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Was that just a naked Rashida on the table?
It was, yeah. Well,
very brave.
By the sounds of it, it's an agenda in that remote.
I think it is.
That's unfortunately just really blocking
I think it's
up.
an SES in that remote.
Yeah. I think we're just waiting to get enough credits and making sure we don't lose in time.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure we're always on the threat of preventing doof.
6 credits is the magic number here.
But if Dolbulb here can draw into a gun.
Yep.
What's it called again?
Revolver.
Revolver. That's the one. That's the kind of gun it is. If Declan can draw into that, then that means that now you don't have that. Oh, okay.
Ooh. We just.
Okay.
Going down to 0.
Yeah, but it's a powers that be, which is going to get back probably
something on a trank.
Yes. Anything on a trank. Probably a Rashida on a trank to give us the credits to get back from this point.
Yes.
And then from there, we just have to score something from hands. Who knows where?
This is the point where kind of you just have to hope they don't have the audacity.
Yeah. And also with the Holloman already on the table, if they just have enough credits, they can install.
That's very true, actually.
In fact, with 5.
Oh, it's a second eminent.
So is that what's being?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's I was thinking this would be an Atlas or something.
Yeah, it looks like we're just getting an eminent.
So yeah, with Holloman, if you install an Atlas, click it. That's 4 credits for 2 advances. So you need 5 credits.
5
which,
credits.
If you earn 2 from the Tranquility Grid and 3 from the Rashida,
so
you
it's
have
only
the 5
really
credits.
3 credits.
Yes.
That's scary prototype for the runner.
But yeah, that means a Rashida in there that if it finds an agenda like an Azef that we've seen in there, then it's huge.
Yes.
So I think we're just going to be putting something on archives here.
Yep.
We just need. There's a lot of agendas in there.
Yeah.
That is the deck.
We keep getting non-agendas out the deck, and so we're just left with a deck full of them.
I think that might be.
Stavkron Archive?
It looked like it had a toucan on it. Toucana? No, that's a different thing.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
Something on archives.
Yeah.
But
something that's scary enough.
Yep.
And that's all we need. Like, the runner has no points.
Yes.
So we just need to make sure they don't somehow find all these points in one go.
Yeah.
If that is a Rashida in the remote, then when it fires, we'll have our 5 credits.
We'll have a whole bunch of new cards.
Yeah, we'll have even more credits as well because we already have 2 left over from that Rashida install.
Yep.
So we can afford to pay 2 to res something if we really need to.
I think if I'm the runner here, I really want to draw a pinhole.
Yeah. Yeah, and with the powers that be on the table, that's a nice, easy route into pinhole.
Yep.
And it might be that the route is to Steve for a couple of pinholes here.
Have we seen any hit the bin?
I think we've seen 1 go in there. There might be 2 though.
If we got 2, that seems like a good plan.
And also wherever we run, we get a filter draw of 2 cards, which could be...
That is very true.
Could be what we need. So I believe we're running HQ, and then we're doing a filter draw. Yeah, Waking Plant probably not going to win you the game here. But then, is Sure Gamble going to do anything?
I mean, it's faster.
Potentially.
And we look at what card we want.
Are we going for an emergency shutdown? Yep, 2 emergency shutdowns.
Yep.
One behind, one to hand. So are we hoping that the outermost ice on that server is unresable?
And just say
then
that we
emergency shut down a sandstone, run through Banhar for 1 to go through an access.
It's a good line.
Which, if it's an SDS, we'd probably just accept that sneak door has kind of seen its time to shine.
Yeah, it's certainly.
Or depending on what the ice is on archives, there is an option of letting the Cat's Cradle go because there is another one in the bin.
Yes.
And then forcing the sneak door through if that's a sentry with a revolver, and then picking up a Cat's Cradle again. But certainly more efficient on cost.
Looks like we're getting in.
Yeah. So we're getting through, taking one of these 2. We lose a Carsax.
And we touch.
It's
Azef.
Azef. So it was going to be the win, so it's very good to find it. But time on the round. I don't believe there's too much time left, so gonna have to find a way through here. But the Corp is only on 2 credits.
Gotta find a quick way to 5
and also we've
points.
Oh, that is time. That's unfortunate. I feel like there's maybe a line here where the runner could have clawed it back.
I think if you're the runner here, you have to take a last ditch hope.
Yeah, and I think the Corp here, you just get as many credits as possible.
Yeah, like if hand is safe, then it's just credit, so that you can hopefully res everything.
Yeah, there we see it. 3 credits. If there's an archer right now, I wonder. Yeah, if there's an archer, if you know they can't get in, you absolutely forfeit one of these agenda points you don't need. Banhar going on R&D. I believe that's a sandstone there, so
only one.
So
as
it
the
may
runner,
be.
You still feel like you've got to draw more than 1 card in hand.
Yeah, it may be you can go through once to access 1 card, and that's it. And is that maybe a Chrysium on HQ, or it could be a Holloman?
I think
it's definitely nice having both as the option. I always forget that things like Holloman and Mavarus, put them wherever you want. They don't have to be in that server. And often you can just hide behind your centrals and keep it safe, and then you can just sneak it out when you need to.
The fact that they can all be on HQ, it makes it really difficult to read.
Yeah.
Like, really helps you hide what you're doing to your
opponent.
So
we're running HQ, spending, losing 2 credits, which we don't have, which doesn't matter. Now.
Oh, I like this line.
Yeah.
If you res the archer, you go down to 1, and so you can probably just run R&D.
Yeah, and if you res the Chrysium.
1 minute in the round.
I think we've got no agendas in hand.
Res a Chrysium, I think.
Okay. I'm a little surprised by that.
I think we're scared of a jailbreak or something. Powers. Okay.
Because now, unless there's an ice wall. There's an ice wall in the innermost, but then you Banhar it. But that gets you in once. So access 1. That's
steal an eminent.
An eminent.
Run back.
Run again. That is not going to be a card that we can get.
I think that's
an extract. Yeah.
I don't think we can do anything.
Technically, you get some credits there.
Yeah.
Also, playing 1 last turn.
I think the stream might have slightly longer.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's true. Yes. Yeah, they get a little extra time on the stream because.
I still feel like they've got to be racing here.
Yeah, they've got to go set up. It also is just a bit longer to play. So, there we go.
Time in the round.
Time is called. So it's 6-3 on points.
I think
no,
it's 5
to 3. So there is a risk here, but now we've got 9 credits, which means we can res.
Anything.
If we want, we can res the Asher on HQ. We can also res the Sandstone on R&D. Res the other piece of ice there, which might be a border control or something.
Yeah, I think it's really.
In fact, I think it might be a border control with the Sandstone there. So, yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe that's why our whole thought about the sandstone didn't matter, because the real OG here is that border control, because
Yes.
it eats the Banhar as well.
Yeah. We're just making
Oh, we are
RNG
putting in
bigger,
extra ice though.
saying this is the last turn of the game. We
Okay.
don't like that.
Overwriting
Interesting.
something.
Hang on. Passing it back.
So where is... Now there's not much to do on HQ. There's no credits on the
no
runner
credits.
side. So, but there is...
We've got click for 4. We've
yeah.
got secret draw gamble.
Yeah. I don't know what's on archives, but I'm guessing it's a sentry, and that's why
Yeah.
we're not touching that anymore.
Yep.
But if it is just
if
a
it doesn't
Stavka,
end the run,
yeah, if it
you
doesn't
can
end the
just
run,
check it last and see.
Just-
With a spin on table.
yeah. And there has been a spin, so
Yes.
the court has drawn a number of cards. We might see that there's an agenda in there now, and maybe there is a way through. There's an ice wall, so that's just
Yep.
going to eat the trigger, and then on the
Lose a
inside we
card.
have something else.
Yep. Losing. Wait.
Yeah. Wake that was never doing anything anyway.
Yeah, that's just showed up too late.
Yeah.
Resin Archer.
There is an archer. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So we drop
It's
down
just-
to 4 points. We are just saying, yeah, you have no programs now. You can gain those credits, install a tremolo, and you've got 1 credit, which is not enough with the number of cybernetics. So
Yeah,
there's just no way back from
I
this.
don't think so. You can.
If there was a cat's cradle in hand, although
Yes.
wait, if that is a Stavka on archives.
If it doesn't end the run, you've got 1 run onto either archives or HQ.
Oh, but it's not successful, so you don't get to Steve to get your cat's cradle.
You don't get to Steve, but you do get to see a card.
Is
You
it?
find 2 points.
Yes. So it was a sandstone in there. Let's just draw a card,
Yep.
which is a career fair, which isn't doing anything.
Yep.
Filter drawing, yep. It was just another class act.
Yeah.
And then I believe, if it is Stavka, just... Oh, wait, we don't know how to sneak
We
draw.
don't. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it got trashed.
Never mind.
Yeah. Okay, we're just...
Wait, I think we've just.
yeah, I think we just accepted there.
Yeah.
Run into the afshot, lose 2 credits, end the run.
Yeah.
Good game. Very close.
Yeah, that was.
There were...
Felt like I was in control for a lot, but Steve kept on finding a trick to get in.
Yeah, lots of tricks up Steve's sleeves. I think just a few things that, if they were found a bit earlier, could have made a
Yeah.
huge difference. We only saw 1 boomerang
Yep.
come up. It might be on just 2 boomerang in the deck, but
Yeah.
an early one could have made a lot of difference. And again, like if you manage to get that first eminent before they score it, the game is
makes a
completely
huge
different.
difference.
Without an archer on
Yeah.
HQ, it's a very different game here. Well, there we have it. That's round 5.
Yeah.
Which I believe that means John Ord has now gone undefeated, and that's Dolbulb's first loss. So 4-1 for Dolbulb and 5-0 for John
Still
Ord.
very much both in cup contention.
Yeah. So
Very possible to get a rematch in the cup.
yeah, I think if you're over 50%, I think if you're 4-3. Actually, no, it might be
No,
5-2 is the requirement
think
to get
that-
to the cup.
So from what I've heard from people who actually can do maths, which isn't me, then 6-1 is guaranteed, and then 5-2 you've got some chance.
Okay.
I think if you lose 3, you're out. But like,
Yeah. I guess it depends on like how the bottom tier
having a
distribution
day
is.
like these two are having, I don't think either of them. Wow, you're always a bit worried, but like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
they've got a good chance.
yeah, if they can go, and also if they're at this position,
Yeah.
they're on the 2nd table, so
Yes.
depending on how other people are doing. But yeah, it's definitely the case that if Dolbob can't find a win in these last 2 rounds, that might not be making it to the cup. But John Ord,
Almost certainly is.
yeah. Cool. Well, thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next round.